Which is where the creative scope comes in for you. Again, it's not just recounting of it is only so entertaining for people, and it's only so engaging for you. But aside from fan submissions, then one of the things I really wanted to ask you is how do you cherry pick? Because again, you have to be selective with the projects that you undertake.
Right.
How do you go about? Is there a personal gratification that you take into account before you select it because you know the material, or is there just a market for it that because again you've noticed a niche market in producing the channel? Do you notice those same niches when you're deciding what videos to produce?
Well, I basically decide by like reading the comments and seeing what film gets mentioned again and again, and I put that on a list. But I also pick based on variety. So let's say I've done Band of Brothers. The next review I'm going to do is not going to be Saving Private Ryan because I just did World War II, and I try to make sure there's a little something for everyone. The only times I repeat historical periods is if it's like a sequel or something. So with Narco season 1, it only makes sense that I finish with Narco season 2. And for anyone worried, I'm not going to do season 3 because I thought Pablo Escobar was relevant enough for the channel. Yeah, I just try to do something different. I get, like I've noticed recently, I've been sticking with the 20th century, so that's another thing I'm trying to move on as well. So I'll be like, I want to do something in the Middle Ages, or I want to do something at the 18th century. So that's how I sort of pick my movies.
In that case, then, when it comes to the decision to pick movies, obviously, when it comes to YouTube,
Yeah.
the almighty algorithm, that invisible force that guides and controls us all, despite the fact that it's oxymoronic. We want our content to be child friendly, but we can't advertise to children. So let's ask the question of how have you found it now that you've, because one of the things that's mentioned on a couple of your videos is the decision to move some of your content, if not all of your content, to Nebula and obviously Patreon in order to make sure that people are able to see not only you're able to produce another monetization stream, but also the fact that you're able to produce videos as you wanted them to be. So gore, physical depictions of certain things, bad language, just things like that. How have you found that transition? Have you found that more gratifying, seeing the video? Now you're able to produce the videos exactly how you want, albeit you've got to edit them for YouTube, as opposed to just being, oh man, I can't put that in because I know YouTube's going to demonetize it, or it's going to get flagged for copyright. How have you found that transition?
Well, it's kind of up in the air, like what YouTube thinks needs to be censored and sort of what isn't. Because sometimes, you put the video in and then you wait for the video to be demonetized or sort of monetized. So
you really do, by the way. That's a thing that happens. You don't know until it goes live, which is something you'd think they'd tell you so that you could edit it out before you run the risk of losing viewers.
Exactly, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll upload the video on private and then wait to see if it gets flagged or something like that, and then I'll take it down and try to guess what should be censored and whatnot. I think like in my part 1 of Narco season 1, I had to like censor cocaine in the background, but it was just
yes,
like
there was. Yeah. I wondered why that was, because obviously the sex and the violence, fair enough. But I remember there being that thing, and I wondered if that was a mistake from the perspective of
no, that was.
Was there like needles and arms and stuff? I don't know, but
no, it's just it could be sugar or flour or anything, but no, it's like has to. It's just showing cocaine at all. But then when I uploaded my second video, it didn't get flagged at all, and it was up there for a while. I'm like, I'm gonna take a chance in this and see if I can, get away with it. I mean, fingers crossed that I don't get demonetized now. But worried about getting demonetized is a concern. That's why most YouTubers are relying through Patreon or other donation means to kind of keep everything going. So it's just the new rules that we all have to play by. There's nothing we could do.
Well, that is the thing. I mean, because I got into doing YouTube right as you were starting the channel, and I can speak from the perspective of starting with a fairly base idea as opposed to yours, which is much more nuanced and much slicker. How have you noticed the change? Obviously, you're now competing not only with every other video on YouTube, but there's multiple platforms. There's different content types and genres. There's different production levels, and there's now even you might call it professionally produced content that's now just making its home on YouTube and things like that.
Yeah.
How do you find that from your perspective as someone that does a lot of this stuff himself?
Well, I think the landscape of YouTube has definitely changed. I'm not sure if I was to start again from scratch today, if my channel would take off, just because there's so many competing. There's just so much information out there. I remember when I started the channel, I thought there might be a possibility, because I remember back in those days, in 2015, whatever, the idea of like, hey, I'm reviewing this movie, and it'll be a guy holding up a DVD to a shitty, webcam, in a darkly lit room. And I was like, if that's my competition, and if I approach it through high animation and high editing, maybe I've got a chance. But now it's everyone's got like those 4K cameras with that ring light and stuff like that. It's much more competitive. So that's the one advantage I have. But then another way is that the content ID system is not as strict as it was back in 2015 and 2016. Like there were all these third-party companies doing fraudulent copyright claims to monetize your videos. And I don't know if you remember this, but like back in 2015, if a claimant put a claim on your video and monetized it, they would get the money generated from your video until you beat their claim. And all they had to do really was just wait you out. So if you dispute their claim, they wait for 30 days and then they reject it. You appeal it, they wait for 30 days and then they reject that. And until the final third time where you send a counterclaim or something like that, until finally they would drop it. Meanwhile, all that time, they get the money made from it. And then in 2016, I think there was a movement called Where's the Fair Use?
Yes.
With Nostalgia Critic and YMS, where they basically made it trending on Twitter and other places and said to YouTube, how about instead of the money automatically going to the claimant, which is extremely unfair, that the money's put in a side account and whoever wins the dispute gets the money. And once that was pushed through, a lot of these third-party companies lost their monetary incentive to keep, fucking with us, basically. So, and I've seen less and less over the years of these copyright claims. I still get them, but it's not as bad as it once was. And the reason I even started the channel in the first place is because there's a lot of YouTubers saying this is how you fight back kind of against that, because have you ever got a copyright claim before?
A few, maybe, because I was in the camp of trying to utilize it for fair use purposes per the remit, but there was, as you've correctly alluded to, there was a time where your use of the copyright material was almost irrelevant. Didn't matter if you altered it, changed it, amended the sound, whatever. From a perspective of covering something like professional wrestling or sport, it is impossible to use even images these days without getting into trouble at some stages. So yes, it's something that pretty much every creator has to contend with, unless they're generating every piece of content that then goes onto the screen.
Yeah, those third-party companies are relying on the YouTuber being too intimidated to stand up to them, basically. So, I mean, I got a friend of mine who's a YouTuber, and he's so terrified of it. I've noticed that when he's reacting to certain videos, he'll play 2 seconds and then react to it. And then he'll react to it for a while, and then 2 seconds again, and he'll react to it. And I just kind of wish to tell him, it's like, it doesn't matter how much you're reacting to. They don't give a shit about that. They're doing a fraudulent claim in the first place doing that. So that's why I could let my things drag out for 20 seconds to a minute long. As long as I have a decent reaction to it, that makes sense, that's transformative, then you could use as much footage as you want. However, if you're uploading the whole thing, of course they're going to sue you.
It's worth pointing out, by the way, Casino, the entire movie. This is how I knew this after watching your review of Casino. In the list of suggestions, the whole movie is still available on YouTube. And I have no idea, and it's been there 4 years. I saw your review like close to when it came out. It's been up 4 years, and no one has taken it down. So if you want to point to the fact that YouTube's copyright claim system is fucking bullshit, someone uploaded a whole movie like Casino, and no one's picked it up.
But that's because the movie companies don't care if it's up there, because they don't want to block it. They want to monetize it. So what's better, like to get it down completely, or put like a bunch of ads on it, and then everyone gets their piece, including the third-party company that I'm sure gets like a 10% commission or something like that for filing these claims in the first place.